Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is out, and you know it's about to go down. You saw the title. I'm going to be ranking all Spider-Man movies, all 10 of them, from the worst to the best. Sup, this is Liam, aka Lazy Boy, aka Emo, aka Childish Gambino. Let's not waste any time. Join me in the comments down below with your ranking. My list isn't the right list. I mean, it is, but if you disagree with mine, let me know yours down below. And let's go! At number 10, we have Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, if you like this movie, you think it's an amazing movie, I don't see it. Now, over time, this movie hasn't aged well. One thing I really like of this movie, he's a high schooler. He's still young, and that's why I think people rate this movie so high. But specifically looking at the plot, it's not as captivating as other Spider-Man films. It's bland, it's boring. I see the maturity that there's still room for him to become a Spider-Man, but at the same time, yes, he's inexperienced, but he has been Spider-Man for a while, for a good amount of time. He has had enough time to be established, but the problem I have is the suit. He's too dependent on the suit. The gadgets are really unnecessary. It makes him more as a Iron Man Jr. Yes, I understand in the end he doesn't use it. He proves that he's something without it. But like majority of the time, it's like more of a Iron Man Jr. film than a Spider-Man movie. And also Iron Man is too much in this movie, and that makes it less of a Spider-Man movie. Also, no good groundbreaking moments, no unique or cool stunts in this movie. Also, no good swinging scenes. The action in this movie is really mediocre, and it's just super forgettable. Now, I'm not saying Tom Holland is a bad Spider-Man. He's amazing. He's good. He's so great. I mean, he's a great actor, and his Spider-Man is actually good. I like his Spider-Man. But the problem with his Spider-Man is when you look at Captain America's Civil War, that was the last time his Spider-Man was more accurate, was most accurate. And people that rank this movie high, I don't understand. It's just unacceptable because he's overrated. Just because he's a young high school Spider-Man doesn't instantly make him the best Spider-Man unless it's executed really well. Also, going into the action and the swinging, there's no swinging in the city of New York. There's no fight scenes in New York. Now, also going back to Iron Man, I understand the purpose. He's there to be a mentor. But I feel like the reason people like this movie is because Iron Man is in it, and he is the face of the MCU. But I will say Michael Keaton portrayed a good villain as the Vulture. He has an objective and he knows what he wants, and I specifically like the twist in the end, towards the end, when Peter finds out that he's Liz's father. Now, this is more of an MCU film than a Spider-Man film, and that's what brings it down. This movie is overrated, and I also don't like that there's no mention of Uncle Ben. So this is just not my favorite Spider-Man movie. At number 9, Spider-Man Far From Home. Okay, this movie is better than the first one, simply because of the pressure of filling Iron Man's shoes, but also not wanting to be Iron Man and just becoming Spider-Man. Also, I don't get the instant interest that Peter all of a sudden likes MJ. There's no reason, it just starts just like that. And this movie did the biggest crime by deleting a cool action scene. The biggest crime you could ever commit. But honestly, I like this movie despite its flaws. Visually, it's well done. The action was well done. The CGI scene with Mysterio was the standout scene, and it was super trippy. I love the illusion sequence. But I also have to be honest, the whole going to Europe with Nick Fury in the movie is just boring. It brings the movie down, because again, it's not in the city of New York. They're not exploring the city. Now, Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio was a great villain. I like Jake Gyllenhaal, he's a great actor. But the con with his character was he doesn't have a problem with Spider-Man. he has a problem with Tony Stark. And his powers aren't even accurate. It's supposed to be real magic sorcery power, but instead it's CGI drones. So the movie is very flawed, but visually it's a lot of fun. At number 8 we have Spider-Man 3. Okay, I do not understand the hate that this movie gets. Now I understand the Venom suit is not good as well as the size, but this is still a good movie. The villains are very good and they all play a part in this movie. From Harry to Sandman to Venom. Topher Grace as Venom was so well. He really stood out. And I understand the flaw of the whole emo Bully Maguire thing, but it still makes you laugh and it puts a smile on your face. And this movie displays amazing action sequences and groundbreaking moments. And this movie just gives a perfect conclusion to one of the greatest superhero trilogies ever. At number 7 we have The Amazing Spider-Man. Now I wish this movie could be ranked higher because I love this movie. Now when this movie came out, I hated it simply because of my nostalgia still towards Tobey Maguire. But over time this movie aged really well and it's still unnecessarily overhated. Now I see that his Peter Parker is not the most accurate version. It's a unique twist and style in his character, but his Spider-Man is the best. His suit looks amazing. I love the suit. The Spider-Man displays amazing swinging scenes, amazing visuals. His character arc is underrated, and although there is a very deep mood and dark take on this movie, there's still the most accurate Spider-Man with a humor. His comedic timing is on point. Andrew Garfield is just an amazing actor and I actually like his take and version of his Peter Parker. I like his version. And also his Spider-Man, not just his character, the humor, but also his physique. Physically he's fit for the character and he's swinging. The Lizard played a good enough villain and the conflict between him and Spider-Man is super intense when you look at every fight scene between them. The relationship with Aunt May is so deep and personal. When you experience every scene with them, you feel that emotion and there is an emotional atmosphere every time they are on screen. And the romantic chemistry between Peter and Gwen is unmatched. They are unmatched. Better than Toby and Kirsten, better than Tom and Zendaya. Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield really sell in every scene and make you believe that there is a strong and real connection between them. And the scene, the ending where Captain Stacy dies, is done so well. And it really matters because you buy into the emotion that Peter is feeling. So this is an amazing movie and it's super enjoyable. My favorite Spider-Man and definitely the most underrated. At number 6 we have Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now I also wish this movie could be ranked higher because I love this movie. Definitely the most underrated film on this list. It has a great start and a great ending. Visually speaking, it is the best one on this list. It is the most visually pleasing Spider-Man movie. The action is there. This movie displays the best swinging scenes. And I like the new suit. I think it's very comic book accurate. And again, the chemistry between Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone as Peter and Gwen are just amazing. Which makes you think that it's not just a superhero film, it could be a romance film. So the battle between them is a roller coaster ride because you see that he's struggling to decide whether he should be with her or not because her life is at risk. And we all know Gwen's death in this movie. That scene is just the most emotional moment in this film. And Andrew Garfield delivered an amazing performance. Now I understand the villains are not good enough, the Rhino was unnecessary, the Green Goblin face was ugly and stupid, but the suit I really liked. But I have to say Jamie Foxx as Electro was a wonderful performance. Like I was still shocked that it was Jamie Foxx because there were moments where I realized that's Jamie Foxx. Visually, his suit was amazing. Although it wasn't comic book accurate, it looked really well. His character was just so believable, and I like Jamie Foxx as an actor. So this movie might not be perfect, but it's still underrated and still amazing. In 5th place, we have Spider-Man, the first one from 2002. This is a classic and timeless film and a perfect origin story. I grew up watching these movies. I love the Sam Raimi films, and these movies I hold close to my heart, and these movies are the reason why I am a Spider-Man fan. This movie displays amazing character arcs, not just in the hero but the villain as well. Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin was so captivating. This movie was a huge blockbuster for the time, simply because it was one of the first live action comic book films. And this one was groundbreaking, and I hold it close to my heart. This movie has an amazing story, an amazing villain, amazing swinging scenes, just an amazing movie and super nostalgic. In 4th place, we have Spider-Man No Way Home. Now we can agree that this movie is amazing simply because of its second half. The first half of this movie was so boring, so dragged, until you get to the climax and you get to the second half. And you instantly forget that the first half was mediocre. You forget that it existed. The whole plot of using a spell to make people forget who you are instead of just going to the university to convince them, and even going through the spell carefully before just doing it right away and causing a whole multiverse. It's stupid and mediocre. The whole trying to cure the villains is dumb. Plot was very lazy. This whole movie was mainly based on nostalgia. But still, I will say, even though I was against it happening, I was actually glad it happened because it put a big smile on my face. By the second half of the movie, you just enjoy the movie, and it's just an amazing cinematic experience. If you haven't seen the movie, spoilers in 3, 2, 1, you've been warned. You should have seen the movie by now. The death of Aunt May really helps set the mood, and you finally see Tom Holland's Spider-Man finally experiences pain, and you see him go through something, and in this movie he finally becomes Spider-Man. But to be honest, the death of Aunt May wasn't really that deep. She was always seen as this fun, friendly, vibey MILF. She wasn't really seen as an emotional character in the previous films. And when Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire show up, it gets exciting. They build up chemistry. They build up a lot in the final battle. The conversations they have in this movie is fun. It's just an epic experience, and this movie has an amazing ending, a perfect ending. But the problem I have with this movie, it's mainly based on nostalgia and fan service. So Tom Holland is overshadowed by the other two Spider-Men, but still Tom Holland did well, and this movie is still good. They definitely knew what they were doing, and it still put a smile on my face. Before we get into my top 3, join me in the comments down below with your ranking. If you don't agree with my list, I would love to see yours. Also check out my other videos and other rankings up there. So let's not waste any time and let's get into my top 3. 3rd place, we have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This is such a creative and unique film. The best way to tell a superhero story is to do it in animation, and I don't think that's unfair. This movie is simply seen as a comic book come to life, which I said might just seem unfair to live action, but that's just the way it is. The style is so unique and it's so influential. We've seen how this style has influenced newer films like Puss in Boots, Intergalactic, the new Ninja Turtles, even a show like Arcane. It gives not only a unique Spider-Man experience, but also a unique comic book experience, and also a unique superhero cinematic experience. Miles Morales is an amazing lead and such a unique character that has a good redemption arc, where in the beginning he's seen as innocent and inexperienced, and then gains experience and motivation in the end. And the other Spider characters are so amazing and also get the spotlight. And the humor is on point. The voice acting is on point. The character arc and the relationship between Miles and Peter B. Parker is so heartwarming and so amazing, where they have this relationship similar to a big brother or an uncle and nephew. And Peter B. Parker is really an underrated character simply because of the difficulties and the depression that he's facing in his universe. And it's like they were destined to meet each other, because Peter is always helping Miles, but in the end Miles helps Peter, and Miles gives hope that Peter will make things right in his world. But in those deep moments, there's still the humor and the banter between them. The animation style is stunning. Spider-Man is just at its best as an animated character because this movie is just for all ages. I wish it could be number one. By the way, top 3 are all number 1s. But this movie is still a beautiful journey. It's not just a great Spider-Man film or a great animated film. It's just a great film overall. In second place, we have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And man, what the first movie did, this one leveled up and blew it out of the water. This movie tried to be as unique and creative as possible. Not just with the animation, but with the storytelling. This movie gives great emotion and great suspense. This movie shows great Easter eggs and cameos. This movie executed better on the multiverse concept than No Way Home and Doctor Strange. But beyond that, it's filled with emotion. We dive deeper into each character. There's love, there's hate, there's betrayal. There's no certainty of who's right or wrong, so you're convinced to pick a side, and you are still not wrong. And this movie is a masterpiece. But I wouldn't put it at number 1 simply because of its ending. Spoiler, it's a massive cliffhanger, so it has no complete ending, no complete story. Gwen's arc was amazing, and it was so cool how they balanced the screen time between Miles and Gwen. Like, Miles is still the main character, but you see Gwen's arc, you see the side, you see what she goes through or what she went through. But this movie is still top tier, spot on comedic timing, the humor is amazing, and once again the animation is beautiful, stunning and groundbreaking, and amazing music. Hummingbird of James Blake might be better than Sunflower. Not sure if that's a hot take, but it's just facts. And you know I can't wait for Beyond the Spider-Verse. In first place at number 1, we have Spider-Man 2. Now this might just be nostalgia, but I just love this film. This is arguably the best sequel to a comic book movie. Just mainly the whole plot and how iconic every scene is in this movie. We dig deeper into Peter Parker's story, and we understand why he's struggling to become Spider-Man. He's struggling to balance his whole life, his normal life and his superhero life. And growing up, I understand now the whole plot of him losing his powers, you know.
Existential crisis stuff.
Also, you get a great villain in Doc Ock, which just showcases a great performance. Alfred Molina really did a great job. And the redemption for him in the end, not dying as a monster, is really devastating but also satisfying. Also, this movie has amazing action sequences, great cinematography and swinging scenes, and we know the iconic train scene, which just is so iconic, the standout scene from this movie. And that scene just makes him a true Spider-Man. And in the end, when MJ sees him without the mask, the way she was processing everything was performed so well. This movie just displays pain and redemption, and that is just what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man. And that's why it's the best Spider-Man film, and that's why it comes in at number 1. Thank you for watching my ranking. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know down below in the comments what your ranking is. Stay tuned for more rankings and more videos. I am Lazy Boy. Thank you for watching. God bless.